From heavy hitters in the industry to artists on the rise, Ampedcast is your all-access pass to the beats, the breakthroughs, and the behind-the-scenes. Welcome to the hottest event in dance music, Miami Music Week, where I hit up the Winter Music Conference to capture the stories behind the sound. Today we sit down with Esther Anaya, a DJ and violinist blending electronic beats with classical strings. Her unique sound is taking the scene by storm and redefining the music game. Listen in where the music is hot and the stories are hotter. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a beat.
All right, we are here with Esther Anaya. Now tell me your origin story. Where did you come from?
I was born in Colombia in a small town called Monteria. I moved to the United States when I was about 12 years old as a political asylum.
Whoa.
Yes, with my whole family. I have two brothers, come from a musical family, and I've been living here in the United States the rest of my life.
Wow. Okay, so that was my next question about what got you started with music. So was it your father, your mother, both?
You know, I was inspired by my father. I grew up listening to him making music, singing to my mom, and that was like kind of my hobby, hanging out with my dad and just making music together. And I fell in love with the violin when I was 7 years old, and I watched a movie and there was a girl playing the violin.
Yeah.
And I told my dad to buy me a violin, and that's where everything started. He bought me a violin, and ever since he gave me the violin as a gift when I was 7 years old, I just never left it.
See, that's amazing. I don't understand. Like, how did you transition that into your DJ performance? I've never seen anybody else do that. I loved it. I was blown away.
Thank you so much. I was inspired by one of the times that I actually got hired to perform a private party many years ago, about 13 years ago, and they played a Thomas Gold song called "Sing to Me," and it was a house song. It's a house song, EDM, and I started playing the violin to it like if it was my original song. My fingers were just rolling so easily that I was like, "Oh my God, this is a sign." And from there, I just started playing the violin to EDM, to different genres, and it's just, I gravitated to it.
That's awesome. Now, how long have you been incorporating the two?
Well,
together?
About 10 years now.
10
yes.
years now.
So I started DJing about 10 years ago, and I remember I started producing and taking classes, just making sure that I knew how to run my equipment. And I was, because music I already know, but now let's get to the technical part and the soft, the hardware. And I took classes. I went to school for DJing and producing, and I practiced a lot. And I love to practice and incorporate both and skills while I do my DJing and the violin and live vocals.
Yeah. And then did you have a background with the violin in more classical training than under your father?
Yeah.
Was that the kind of music he was playing?
Yeah, no, well, actually, I went to a conservatory back home, and I was in orchestras, and when I moved to the United States, I still was in orchestras and the UCLA orchestra, and I was completely involved in classical music, and my dream at that time was to go into a conservatory in a school of music with a scholarship here as I graduated from high school, but I was denied.
You denied?
I wasn't good enough. And I feel that was a failure at that time, but it actually, I think it was for the best, because I wasn't meant to be in that industry. I was meant to be where I'm at now, I feel. You're
meant to blaze your own trail, not go a programmed way, as others had gone.
I think so. I'm very creative. I don't like to follow a lot my music sheets. I respect them, and I love all the composers, but I like to sometimes just put my own touch on it. So I guess.
Well, it worked, because clearly you are confident in yourself and your abilities, in your image and everything. The moment we laid eyes on you, it's like she's an artist for sure, even though we hadn't met you or seen you before.
Yeah, that's
But now
crazy.
seeing you perform with the violin is like, now anytime I see somebody perform without a live instrument like that, I'm going to feel like something's missing. So I think you ruined it for everybody else.
Oh my God. Don't say that. I don't want people to hate me.
Now, about blazing your own trail, so much of the advice that we've heard people pass on so far is to be yourself and do your own thing. But in the industry, have you found that there's a lot of pressure to fit into a certain mold that others expect?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of pressure, and I feel that sometimes we want to please other people, and we want to please what we think it works out and it makes sense. But I feel that that's kind of a mistake, and I made it a lot. But I think everybody has to make that mistake, and everybody has to realize that doing that is not what works for them, so they could figure it out. So even if I give someone an advice, I'll probably say, you know what, just try to follow, so you actually learn and understand, and that way you gain and find your own sound.
Yeah, you have to discover yourself over time. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, totally. I went into reggaeton, I've done other genres, and I figured out that was not Esther Anaya until I really found my sound and I found who I am now in the EDM industry and the house music and what styles of music I like to play and sing. And that's what makes me, after realizing that I was not a reggaetonera, I was not a Latin pop singer, you know what I mean? Just because I'm Latina, everybody expected me to be that.
That makes sense. Now, do you find also that you have a preference over like the smaller venues or the bigger ones? Where's your best energy?
I love festivals, and I love creating them. The bigger, the better for me. And the reason why I say that is because I love to put on a show. And I require a big stage to do that and bring all the dancers and all the elements I want to bring and create, because my brain is going 100 miles per hour. And I like to bring, while I'm playing and doing what I'm doing, my dream is to have dancers, fire dancers, and I envision so many like a Cirque du Soleil style going on while I'm performing. So that requires a big stage.
That makes sense. I feel that totally. I suppose if you're at a small venue, you might feel a little more confined in your performance, whereas you can really spread your wings at a big one and go all out.
Yeah, totally. Even though I love performing intimate and like having the connection, like, you know, having the crowd around, it's like such a magical energy. But if you tell me tonight you're gonna play at this festival, you're gonna play at intimate, I'll probably run to the festival.
Yeah, the big one.
That's what probably.
Well, we look forward to seeing you at a bigger festival in the future.
Yes, I'm trying all of them.
Yeah. Now, what would you have for advice in a new person that's like just stepping into it? And you already spoke to some of it earlier, but any final notes on that? What you would encourage somebody to do?
Well, I feel that one of the things that it's, you know, like, do not be afraid. I feel like we get afraid of putting ourselves out there and like being vulnerable. And I think that's super key. You have to, it doesn't matter, like the first song that you write, the first song that you create, do not just put it under your pillow and forget about it. Like you have to put it out. You have to get feedback. You have to ask for help. You have to create a community. People are not going to come knock on your door and tell you you're going to be a superstar. No, even though you have talent, it's not enough. You have to put on the work. You have to be out there. You have to connect with people. You have to collaborate.
Yeah. Be unignorable.
Yes, absolutely.
And unforgettable. And I think you accomplished that with your look and with your performance, including the violin. Maybe it'll inspire others to incorporate, you know, side talents into their show. Absolutely. Maybe juggling. Probably not.
Yeah, I feel like juggling. You know what? Why not? I feel like get out of the box and try different things. And what makes you unique would just like make you be remembered forever.
Absolutely. I think that does it for us. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to seeing you in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
One more thing, we can splice it in. Ask her how can people connect with your music online.
Oh, I spaced that. Yeah.
Go ahead. We can splice it in.
We'll splice it in. All right, before we go, how can people connect with you online? How can they find you?
Everybody can find me on your favorite platform as Esther Anaya, ESTHERANAYA, and have brand new music. I just released a track of the Godfather theme of the movie in a techno version with Thomas Gold as my new project, Anaya and Gold. You guys can go check it out.
Awesome, can't wait to hear it.
Yes.
See you next time.